Today, we're going to be doing the cervical flexion test. This is just a way of testing your neck flexion, so this movement coming forward. And you might be thinking, it's pretty easy, right? I just did it. I'm just looking down. But there's actually a little bit of a nuance to it to make sure you're doing it correctly and you're truly just testing the amount of movement and mobility in your neck. So, you're sitting tall, shoulders kind of back, hands in your lap. And what you're going to do first is you're going to tuck your chin and then roll forward from there, right? So I'm staying tall. I'm not continuing to roll forward like I'm doing a Jefferson curl. I'm staying upright. I'm tucking my chin and I'm only moving from my neck. And what I feel is a little bit of restriction, and the goal is you try and get this chin as close to or even touching this chest. One thing that's really common is that people actually kind of jut out first and then bend down. And it gives them a little bit more range of motion. But what ends up happening is they actually move more so from their thoracic spine rather than just their neck. By tucking your chin and then rolling, that actually gets you to move from the top of your spine or your neck here, C1, C2, and then continue to move through the rest of your neck in each vertebrae in it, rather than only moving from the bottom vertebrae in your neck and then maybe the top part of your thoracic spine as well. So from the side, what it looks like is I'm sitting tall, hands in my lap, and I'm tucking my chin and then rolling forward, trying to get as close as I can to my chest. And you can tell, you may not be able to see it, but I can fit my fingers underneath my chin, right? And I feel restriction from this like bottom part of my neck and top of my middle back a little bit, which makes sense. Those muscles run from the base of my skull to the top of my pelvis. So even though I may not necessarily feel restriction in my neck, they're still limiting my movement in this cervical flexion test. Now, what I was talking about before, what I don't want you doing is this like jutting out and then coming down, and you can see that automatically gets me to move from my thoracic spine, right? But now I can get my chin to my chest. So I think that I have this great cervical range of motion. I can touch my chin to my chest, but in reality, it's because I'm using other joints and other parts of my spine in order to reach that distance. So you want to be able to tuck your chin and roll forward, and you can see I stop, and that is the extent of my cervical flexion. And you come back up. And that is a cervical flexion test.